Thousands of learners in parts of KwaZulu-Natal, including Empangeni and Melmoth, missed the first day of the academic school year. This is due to the prolonged rainfall in the province, which has worsened the conditions of the roads that are being repaired following the devastating floods. Rural areas remain particularly affected, raising concerns about access to schools. To discuss this plans to address this and the scholar transport issues in the province, we are now joined by the KwaZulu-Natal Transport Department spokesperson, Ndabe. Sibiya. Ndabe, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. So following this concern about roads being inaccessible and some pupils losing days for schooling, how far are you in terms of dealing with this particular situation?
Yeah, and thank you very much. Good morning to you and to your viewers. Yesterday, the MEC for Transport and Human Settlements, sponsored Duma, started a province-wide inspection of road infrastructure. As you know, that is also responsible for human settlement. So he started, inspecting road infrastructure, and as you know, that sometime in 2022, we experienced floods here in KwaZulu-Natal, and look, it's unfortunate that as we repair and maintain some of the road infrastructure that was damaged in 2022, we are now having the recurrence of heavy rainfall. Over the past couple of days, in articulating the challenges that we are facing as a result of the cut-off low, a low pressure system that gets separated from the main airflow, and it gets concentrated in one area and dumping a lot of rainfall. So this is what we are experiencing. If you look at various parts of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Melmoth, an area called Kwasanguye, it's very affected. You look at Vryheid, Bilanyoni there's one person who unfortunately died as a result of drowning. And you go to Empangeni in Tseleni, that area is also affected. By the way, there is an island in KwaZulu-Natal. Very few people are aware that there's an island here in KwaZulu-Natal, a place called Empangeni. It's completely isolated, and we need about 1 billion rand to build a bridge there. The MEC was there with the local leadership to inspect that area, which was declared as a World Heritage Site. So these are some of the challenges that we're facing. But the MEC will be going to all these areas. There's a roving team, comprising of officials from the National Department of Human Settlements, some officials from district here in KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport that are working with communities just to do an audit of some of the areas that have been affected.
Yeah, and now the issue is that we need to get the kids into schools. Are there any conversations that are taking place between the Department of Education as well as, I guess, maybe the Transport Department and the schools to say that how do we ensure that the children do not lose a learning and teaching time, and whether you pursue maybe an online learning facility in the meantime?
Well, these are some of the new challenges that we need to deal with. We have a scholar transport, for instance, that is catering for more than 77,000 learners, who are going to 433 schools. So that is part of the interventions that we are doing. The MEC inspected that scholar transport, and about 47 buses were removed from our roads because they were found to be unroadworthy, and we cannot take a chance. And but what we can also confirm is that an alternative transport has been arranged, for those learners who following the removal of those 47 buses. But then if you look at the waiting list, 150,000 learners are on a waiting list for scholar transport. That is transporting learners who are actually walking about 3 kilometers. So we are saying, as the Department of Transport, let's continue to have that conversation to explore other interventions. I think the issue that you are raising is very critical, using the cutting edge technology to ensure that we are able to push all the challenges that we are facing. But then again, when you look at the issue of the cut-off law, the MEC has said both the HODs, transport and human settlement, we need to adapt. We need to say, look, it is very clear. Look at 1846, we experienced the cut-off law here in KwaZulu-Natal, dumping a lot of rain. Fast forward, 1984, we experienced the same cut-off law. dumping a lot of rain. 1987, 700 people died as a result of heavy rainfall, induced by the cut-off flow. 2022, we experienced a cut-off flow of rainfall of exceeding 300 millimeters. Now in 2025, the SA Weather Services predicted rainfall of above 150 millimeters. So we are also interacting with SA Weather Services to look at the possibilities. But the issue that you are raising, the issue of connectivity, ensuring that the learners are able to connect when they are isolated, I think that's the issue that is handled at another level by the executive authorities for both departments. But safe to say, as the department, the MEC is very committed to ensure that we accelerate the construction of road infrastructure. If you look at the budget that was allocated for the new designs of the roads, 58 million, just to ensure that we are able to have the drainage culvert, to direct water so that we don't have our bridges overwhelmed, when there's a heavy rainfall as a result of a cut-off flow.
I think one of the other problems is with the department being taken to court by Equal Education in relation to the provision of a scholar transport. The MEC yesterday said that for that 157,000 learners who require scholar transport, you do need about 1.6 billion rand. And we know with the austerity measures the Treasury has taken. Will you have enough money for scholar transport this year?
Yeah, the issue of equality education, I think you've been overtaken by events. That issue, it dates back to 2015. I mean, Cabinet in 2015 took a resolution to, develop, to introduce the scholar transport. Fast forward, we were then required as the province of KwaZulu-Natal to have a policy. If you look at both departments, education and Department of Transport, the Department of Education is responsible for, the provision of a scholar transport to learners, with special needs. As the department, we are responsible for, provision of scholar transport to, learners. But that issue of the funding model, it is handled at national level under the leadership of, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa. The Minister of Transport at national level is managing that with, the Minister of, Basic Education. But in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, all what the MEC has also emphasized is that let's continue to collect revenue as the department through licensing, the renewal of driver's licenses. We can also report that, we've collected more than 1.6 billion, as the Department of Transport. That money alone, it goes back to the national fiscal so that it is redirected for education, for health, and for any other service. So as the Department of Transport, last year, we collected more than 2.5 billion, through all these, service centers, licensing, motor licensing, as well as, driver's license, testing centers. So we are working extremely hard under the leadership of the MEC sponsor. He has said to all of us, let us adapt, let us be agile so that we are able to inspire hope for a better future.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Ndabe Sibiya is the spokesperson for the KwaZulu-Natal Transport Department.